Good morning, Palm and Pine community. This is Jamie coming to you from the Palm and Pine studio, which it is super fun to be back into this space to offer you this flow, and hopefully soon you will all be able to come back and join us in here too. I kind of want to go through studio announcements, but that is not really relevant right now, although we will open as soon as we're able to. Last Sunday was the last class that I taught in person, and I was talking about the science of yoga, particularly being curious about how our mindfulness and breath work can help calm and invite in relaxation into our bodies and our minds. We have a central nervous system, and our somatic nervous system is the nervous system that we can control. So we will say, inhale, raise your left hand high, and we're able to do that. With our autonomic nervous system, those are all of the processes that we just simply don't think about. So like our heartbeat, our natural breath, and our digestion. There are two parts of the autonomic nervous system. So there's the sympathetic nervous system, which is our stress response. So as more and more input is coming in at us, our body reacts, oftentimes appropriately, to deal with the stress. And then we have our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest response. So when we are elevated and dealing with stress, we can initiate that and we can help ourselves calm down. So a person is balanced when these two systems are working together. There is a little bit of stress and then some rest. But what happens or can happen is there's a lot of input, a lot of stress. So we find ourselves being a little bit more elevated, and we have to then mindfully invite in our parasympathetic nervous system. And we can do that with meditation, with yoga movement, and with breath work. So I personally have definitely been a little bit more elevated recently. So I thought today we would bring our attention back to our breath and our movement as a way to help bring our parasympathetic nervous system back online to help us relax. And when we practice that on the mat, we can then practice and use those tools off of the mat on our daily life too. Cool. All right, so today we will be doing a variation of classic flow. So I invite you to start in a child's pose this morning. So big toes to touch, knees wide, arms stretched out in front. Take a full breath in to lean forward, and exhale, press your hips back to lengthen through your torso, and allow your forehead to come down to the mat and settle into that pose. Meaning allow your body to soften towards the mat and just start to notice your natural breath. Notice where you might feel your breath in your body. And notice the qualities of your breath. If it feels deep and full, or maybe quick and shallow. I invite you to walk your fingertips forward a little bit more on your mat and press into your palms to extend your tailbone back. As you do that, start inviting in deeper breaths. So one way to start inviting the parasympathetic nervous system to be with you would be to deepen your exhale. So take a full breath in through your nose and a long exhale out of your mouth. Full breath in through your nose, fill up 360 degrees, and a controlled exhale out of your mouth. When you're ready, gaze forward and walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. So placing your right palm towards the edge, left palm can be over, and extend your hips back and towards the left, bringing your forehead back down to the mat and breathing into your left side body. Just noticing whatever sensations might arise. And then over the next couple of breaths, gazing forward, walking your left hand towards the left side, right hand can place over, and extend your hips back and towards the right, allowing your forehead to come back down to the mat, and finding a full breath or two here. On your next inhale, walk your hands back to center and pull yourself up to a tabletop position. So you're creating space between your fingertips, your shoulders are over your wrists, and your knees are underneath your hips. I invite you to curl your toes to stretch through the backs of your feet. Take a full breath in at neutral, and when you exhale, press your mat away to enter into cat pose, tucking your chin and allowing your tailbone to come down towards the earth. And follow your in-breath to open up your chest, allow your belly to soften into cow pose. So find your movement following your breath between these two poses. Trying to continue to lengthen your breath and allowing your movement to be the entirety of your breath. So right at the top of your breath, you arrive in one pose, and right at the bottom of your breath, you arrive in the other. An option is a way to help aid you in lengthening your exhale as you inhale into cow pose. Exhale, find cat, and allow your hips to press all the way back towards a child's pose variation. Inhale, pull forward, find cow. And exhale, round and press all the way back, trying to lengthen your exhale as far as you can. So take any organic movement for the next couple of breaths, anything that will feel supportive to your practice. When you feel balanced, returning back to a neutral spine and taking a little bit of time for your wrists, perhaps turning your fingertips out to the long edges of the mat and rocking side to side. And if you would like to explore turning your fingers to face your knees and rocking forward and back, you can do that as well. Or maybe even pressing the tops of your hands into the mat, one at a time. A little counter stretch. All right, so finding your tabletop once more. Tuck your toes if they aren't already. Press the mat away so your shoulders broaden on your back. Take an inhale to hover your knees just a couple of inches off the mat, and exhale, press back to downward facing dog. So take a little bit of time to find some movement, maybe pedaling or bending into one knee and then the other. Allowing your head to feel heavy here. And continuing to press the mat away. Invite a little bend into your knees so you're lengthening through your lower back. And invite in some stillness. Take a full breath in, an open mouth exhale. Inhale to gaze forward, and exhale, journey to the front of your mat for forward fold. Press into your feet, inhale, find a halfway lift. and stay as you exhale. So inviting a little bit of bend in your knees and reach the top of your head towards the front of your room. Take one more full breath in to imprint that length, and exhale to fold. Press into your feet, inhale, rise up to mountain pose. And exhale, hands come alongside of you. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Close your eyes here if that feels safe. Notice if you can continue to point your tailbone down, activate through your core muscles, pulling your navel into your spine. With your next breath in, inhale, reach your arms up high and allow your right hand to hold onto the left wrist. Reach up and over towards the right, standing crescent. Breathe into your left side body and press into both of your feet. With your next inhale, return back to center, change the grip, full breath in, and then reach over to the left. Allow your breath to create that space. Inhale, return back to center, and exhale, baby back bend. Soften through the elbows. Full breath in to reach up high, and exhale, slow forward fold. Hips and knees are soft. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down and step your left foot back. So you're going to find a low lunge. So make any adjustments that you might need, and we'll just stay here for a breath so you can allow your hips to settle towards the earth. An option to keep your back knee lifted or lowered. Press your left hand into the mat as your right hand comes to your chest. Full breath in, and exhale to open up to a twist. Reaching your right hand high. Gaze can lift or look down at your left hand, and actively press into your left hand as you reach up with your right. Take one more full breath in. Exhale, frame your front foot, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and step back to plank pose. So here for just a couple of breaths, push the ground away as you activate through your center, pulling your ribs in. Lift up through the back of your head, and with your next inhale, reach forward slightly, and exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Elbows grazing your side body. Press the top of your feet into the mat to activate your legs. Inhale, baby cobra, hovering your chest and hands. Exhale to soften back down. Place your hands slightly in front of your shoulders, as wide as your mat. And with your next breath in, press into your palms to rise up to a higher variation of cobra, and stay as you exhale. Take a couple of breaths to invite in a little bit of movement, maybe some neck rolls, or dipping one shoulder in and then the other. Tuning into what might feel supportive for your practice, and coming back into your breath. When you find center once more, find a deep inhale. Exhale, pull your spine forward as you come back down to the mat. Hands come underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes. With your inhale, press up to modified plank or plank. Exhale, hips come up and back for downward facing dog. With your breath in, gaze forward, and exhale, journey to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Press into your feet to rise up, and exhale, baby back bend. Inhale back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down. This time your right foot steps back to find your low lunge. Taking a moment to make any shifts so you feel supported, finding that stability in your foundation. And you can keep your back knee lifted or lowered. Press actively into your right hand. Left hand comes to your chest. Full breath in to lengthen. Exhale to open up into a twist. Encourage your shoulders on your back here so you continue to open up through your chest. And notice if you can find that length in your breath. Take one more full breath in. Exhale to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, step back to plank pose. This time as you inhale to rock forward, exhale to lower down halfway or all the way. Inhale for your cobra or upward facing dog, and journey back to your downward dog on your exhale. Take a full breath in and sigh it out. Inhale to gaze forward. Exhale, journey to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, fold and release. Bend into your knees. Inhale, rise up to chair pose, reaching towards the horizon, or perhaps hands come at heart center. So as the heat starts to build, notice if you can come back to your breath. Find that mindful breath that will offer you strength as you continue to lengthen, balancing that stress with a little bit of ease. Take a full breath in, ground down as you exhale. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale back to center, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, extend. Exhale, place your hands down, step back to plank pose. Full breath in to reach forward, and exhale to lower down. Follow your in-breath to find your heart opener, and exhale back to your downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, and then breathe it out. Inhale your right leg high, three-legged dog, and stay as you exhale. Notice if you can encourage your left heel down towards the mat as you continue to extend through the right leg. Take one more full breath in. Exhale, knee comes to nose. Hover for a moment and step it through to find your warrior one base. So find that relationship with your mat and bring your hands to your hips and rise up with your breath when you are ready. Make any adjustments you might need to feel supported in your warrior one, pressing actively and completely into both of your feet. Option to reach your arms up high or bring one hand to your heart and one hand over, and close your eyes to tune back into your body. So using this feedback to feel into your heartbeat or to feel your breath. And while you do that, continue to extend through the top of your head. With your next breath in, reach up high, and exhale, open up to your warrior two. You might choose to lengthen your stance and press through the pinky toe edges of both of your feet. Notice if you can reach back a little and then reach forward, and find that place that feels supportive to you where your shoulders are over your hips. Feel as though your thighs are pulling in towards one another to activate through your legs. And with your next breath in, reach forward and exhale, elbow towards knee as your left hand reaches forward and up towards the ceiling. Extended side angle. Notice if you can encourage your front shin a little bit more towards the front of the room. Take a full breath in. Exhale it out. Keep your lunge as you inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, follow your hands down to frame your front foot. Stepping back to plank or modified plank and following your breath through a vinyasa. Always knowing that you can return back to downward facing dog, which I might do soon because I am out of breath. When you get to downward dog, tune into the frequency of your breath. Noticing the quality and challenging yourself to find a little bit of ease. With your next breath in, inhale your left leg high and stay as you exhale. Notice if you can encourage the pinky toes of your left foot down towards the earth to help you encourage your hips towards the mat. Take one more full breath in and exhale, knee towards nose, pausing there for a moment and finding your warrior one feet. Press actively into both feet as you inhale to rise. And then exhale to settle in. Continue to lengthen through your side body, and an option to reach your hands up towards the ceiling, or again, place one hand on your chest and the other, and closing your eyes. Tuning into how your body feels in this moment, in this pose. With your next breath in, reach up high. Exhale, warrior two, opening up. So start with your feet, finding that stability in your foundation. Maybe reaching back and forward once more to find that length in your torso. And then actively reaching through both fingertips to allow your chest to continue to open. With your next breath in, reach forward and exhale, elbow to knee as your right hand sweeps forward and high for extended side angle. Take a full breath in. Stay as you exhale. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, frame your front foot. Move through lunge to return back to your plank pose. And really deciding if you want to follow your breath through a vinyasa or meeting back in downward facing dog. Being curious about your personal practice and where you can invite in maybe a little bit more effort or a little bit more ease. All right, matching some movement with breath. With your next inhale, raise your right leg high and exhale, knee to nose, hover. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot down, find your warrior one base, and rise up with your breath. Exhale, open up to your warrior two. Stay as you take a full breath in and ground down as you breathe out. Inhale to rock forward and exhale, find your extended side angle. Inhale, reverse your warrior, and exhale, follow your breath to frame your front foot and continue to move through your flow or find your downward facing dog. Once in downward dog, with your next breath in, inhale your left leg high. exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, press it back, three-legged dog. And exhale, knee to nose, and step through for warrior one. Inhale, rise up to your warrior one, and follow your exhale to warrior two. We'll stay for an in-breath, and stay for the out-breath. Inhale to reach forward, and exhale, extended side angle. Inhale to reverse your warrior, reaching up with your left fingertips, and exhale to frame your front foot and moving through your vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. All right, take a full breath in. And an open mouth exhale. Inhale your right leg high, and exhale, bend and open, encouraging your heel towards your glute. And notice if you can continue to press through both of your hands. With your next breath in, extend back to three-legged dog, and exhale, knee to nose, and step it through. So we're gonna move into a lizard lunge. So toe heel your front foot out to the side and bring both of your hands to the inside of your front foot. Option to keep your back knee lifted or lowered. And if you do have a prop like a block or something that can elevate the earth to you, I invite you to place your hands on it now so you can continue to lengthen through your spine. So find a little bit of stillness or perhaps a little movement. You can always place your left hand under your head and then bring your right hand to your thigh to open up for just a little bit of a twist. Just tuning into what sensations might be arising and noticing what your body might be trying to tell you. This is an awesome pose if you find that you sit all day. All right, bringing both hands back to the inside. Toe heel your front foot back into alignment with your hip. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee if it is not already, and then rise up to find crescent pose. So you can have a little bit of a wider stance in crescent to give you a little bit more stability, and maybe a little bend in your back knee to help lengthen through your lower back. All right, with your in-breath, reach your arms up high, and exhale, hinge forward, eventually reaching your hands back behind you, palms facing the earth. Pull your inner thighs towards one another and continue to lengthen through the top of your head. As the heat starts to rise, tune into your breath, challenging yourself to continue to lengthen that exhale. Take a full breath in, open mouth exhale. With your next breath in, rise back to center, and then your right hand can reach forward and back to open up towards a twist. So take this progressively. With your inhale, you're lengthening, and exhale, notice if you can continue to twist just a little bit more. Invite in a full breath. Empty it out. Inhale, return back to crescent, and exhale, open your arms up wide. Right arm under, give yourself a hug, and pause here for a moment just to create that space with your shoulders on your back. An option to stay here or to take an eagle arms. So again, we're really gonna work into our front leg here. Send your awareness to your front foot, and over the next couple of breaths, slowly lean forward and transition so you can lift your back leg up and cross it over to find eagle legs. Taking it as slow as you need to arrive into eagle pose. And when you get there, notice if you can encourage your elbows up and slightly away. Take a full breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale, reach up, unwind, step side to side. Grab some water. All right, pressing mindfully into both of your feet. Pull up energy from the ground as you continue to extend through the top of your head. Inhale to reach your arms up high. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale back to center and swan dive, forward fold. Let that go. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down and step your feet back to downward facing dog. Invite in a full breath here. Exhale it all out. And inhale your left leg high, and then bend and open up. Noticing if you can continue to press through both of your hands as you encourage your heel towards your glute. With your next breath in, lengthen, find three-legged dog, and exhale, knee towards nose, and step your foot through for low lunge. So making those shifts to find that lizard pose, toe heeling your front foot out to the side, bringing both hands in towards center. Option to keep your back knee lifted or lowered as you arrive into your lizard pose. Finding that balance of effort and ease in every pose, noticing if you need to perhaps invite in a little bit more effort to feel balanced, or finding ways to invite in a little bit more ease. Tuning into your breath, noticing if you can feel your heartbeat, taking the time to tune inward with a little bit of curiosity. All right, coming back to center, toe heel your front foot back into alignment. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then when you're ready, rise up to a crescent lunge. I like to start with my hands on my hips so I can find my foundation that will feel safe. With your breath in, reach up high, and exhale, continue to reach forward as you hinge forward slightly, and then invite your hands behind you. So you're really encouraging your shoulders away from your ears and opening up through the chest as you reach your fingertips back. Find your breath here, following it to the very top, and as you breathe out to the very bottom. Inhale, return back to center, and exhale, left hand comes forward and back for your twist. Finding gratitude for all of those little movements that your muscles are doing to support you in this challenging pose. Take a full breath in, empty it out. Inhale, return back to center, and exhale, open your arms up wide. Left arm under this time, give yourself a hug. And even though you know where we're going, pause here for a moment. And then find your eagle arms if you would like to take that variation and start sending your awareness to your front foot. And without any rush, taking the next couple of breaths to transition to your eagle base. bringing everything in towards center. And your right hip can come back just a little bit. Take a full, complete breath in. Ground down as you exhale. And then inhale, open up wide, stretch it out. Maybe step side to side. Okay. So, coming into a standing pose here, press your feet hip-width distance apart. Hands can come on your hips. Press into your right foot as you step your left foot back about 2.5 or 3 feet. So have your feet in 2 different lanes as we set up for pyramid pose. Starting with your hands on your hips, take a full breath in to lengthen through the top of your head. Exhale to hinge forward, pausing halfway. Inhale here to imprint that length in your spine, and then exhale, allow your hands to come down to your shin or to the earth or to a block for pyramid pose. So your head can hang heavy, and your front knee can have a little bit of a bend here. Option to close your eyes so you can tune in to the sensations that might be arising. On your next breath in, find a halfway lift. Bring your hands to your heart and bend just a little bit more into your front knee. We're gonna move to a warrior 3. So just as we did before, send your awareness to your front foot. Hinge or reach slightly forward as you lift your back foot up, pressing actively through the crown of your head and your back heel. Option to keep your hands at your chest or reach them back behind you. Take a full breath in, stay to exhale, and rise up with your in-breath once more, stepping side to side. All right, moving to the other side, feet underneath your hips, hands at your hips as well. Left hand plants down, step your right foot back about 2.5 or 3 feet. So pressing actively into both feet, option to hinge forward this time with your hands on your hips, or perhaps you can clasp them behind you to open up your chest. Either way, take a full breath in to lengthen through the crown of your head and exhale to hinge forward. Pause at that halfway mark to breathe in once more, and then exhale to allow yourself to come down. And if you have your hands clasped behind you, notice if you can encourage your hands up towards the ceiling. And press into your front heel to encourage a little bit more weight into your back foot. So both of your legs are active, supporting you here. When you're ready, you can allow your hands to release back down to the earth. With your next breath in, find that halfway lift. Hands can come to your chest and start making your way to that warrior 3 mindfully. So sending your awareness to your front foot, a little bit of buoyancy in that leg as you lift up your back leg high. Finding that extension all the way from the crown of your head to your back heel. Take a full breath in, stay to exhale, and inhale, rise up to mountain pose, stepping side to side. All right, bringing your feet underneath you once more. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. Exhale, one more back bend. Full breath in to reach up, and exhale to forward fold. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down, step back to downward facing dog. So I'm going going to cue us into a half pigeon pose, but if you would like to take a supine figure 4 instead, you can move to your back at this point. If you're taking half pigeon, with your next breath in, reach your right leg high, and exhale, encourage your right knee behind your right wrist, and find that placement for your shin. Once you have your shin down, encourage length in your back leg, and then send your awareness to your hips, always knowing you can use a blanket or a pillow underneath your right hip to support it. An option to stay here, so lengthening through the crown of your head, or you can walk your hands forward to find a little bit of a fold. Find areas where you can soften, where you might be holding on to some tension that you don't necessarily need to be doing. So maybe through your jaw or your shoulders, and grounding into that sensation of your breath. Over the next couple of breaths, if you were in pigeon pose, I invite you to rise and mindfully and slowly move back to your downward facing dog, taking any additional postures that might feel good for counter movement. When you're ready, allowing your left leg to rise up with breath, and exhale, encouraging your left knee behind your left wrist, finding that placement for your shin. Extending your right leg back. Noticing if your hips feel supported. And then being mindful of that length in your spine. As you come to arrive into the variation of pigeon pose you would like to explore. As the practice starts to slow down, still finding that effort to invite in those little areas of ease. Finding that balance between the stress and the heat that we cultivated earlier, and inviting in a little bit of rest towards the end as the practices start to slow down. Over the next couple of breaths, I invite you to begin to rise. Slowly returning back to your downward facing dog, taking any movement, noticing how you feel in this last downward dog. And then we'll meet in a seated position, facing the front of your room for a fold. Let's do a wide-legged fold today. So encouraging length in both legs, slight activation in your feet so your toes point up towards the ceiling. That will help activate through the muscles in your legs. So first, extend through the crown of your head and keep that extension in your spine as you walk your hands forward, just a little bit, not too terribly far. Take a full breath in to lengthen through the top of your head. And then as you exhale, soften through your elbows. Inviting yourself to find a forward fold that feels supportive for you. And then when you're ready, you can even tuck your chin and spend a couple of breaths learning or challenging yourself to soften and continuing to lengthen your inhale, which will help support you in lengthening your exhale. When you're ready, you can start to walk your hands back towards center, extending up through your spine once more, encouraging your feet together, and then finding a place on your mat where you can lie down. So I might turn off to the side here. So coming onto your back, before we move into bridge pose, I invite you to bring your knees in towards your chest and find a little bit of movement, rocking side to side, massaging out your lower back, and then placing your feet down close to your glutes and encouraging your shoulders onto your back, reaching your fingertips towards your heels. Before we move into bridge pose, press into your feet to encourage your tailbone towards the front of the room. And keep that engagement in your core as you inhale, press into your feet to lift your hips up high for bridge pose. Stay as you exhale, noticing if you can almost feel your heels dragging towards your feet to really light up your leg muscles. Back bends have an energetic quality, so you might find that your breath is quickening, which is completely supportive, but notice if you can continue that mindful inhale and that long exhale. Take one more breath in and exhale, slowly lower, upper back, middle back, and lower back, all the way to the floor. Invite in both of your knees in towards center once more and hold on to your right as you extend your left out long ahead of you. So really pointing or reaching through the heel. Open up your right knee towards the right side and breathe here for a moment. When you are ready, you can cross your right knee over center using your left hand to guide it, maybe even encouraging your hips over towards the right to find a supine twist. An option to extend your right hands towards the wall, and maybe your gaze will follow. Trying to release a little bit of effort here, continuing to soften. Allow all of the areas that are touching your mat to feel heavy and weighted. Over the next couple of breaths, return back to center, inviting both knees in once more. And holding on to your left as you extend your right long. Open up your left knee towards the left and pause here, inviting in a full breath and a full out breath. And in your own time, you can allow your knee to cross over midline using your right hand as a guide and finding that supine twist on this side. Allowing your breath to be the dynamic movement of this pose. So finding some stillness, but using your breath to create space. When you're ready, you can find center once more. Bring both knees in and actively engage. So squeeze your knees in towards your chest. You may even lift your forehead and chin up to meet your knees and squeeze everything actively. And then with your next exhale, release back down. The soles of your feet come together. Your knees open up wide for Supta Baddha Konasana. An option to bring your hands onto your belly. And I will guide you through some 1 to 2 breath ratio. So really mindfully practicing extending your exhale. So first take a full breath in through your nose. And an open mouth exhale. Seal your lips and breathe in for a count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top and we'll breathe out for a count of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and breathe out slowly through a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I encourage you to practice that breath work on your own, adjusting the numbers in any way that you might need to. If there's any other poses that you would like to explore for your practice this morning or whenever you're watching this video, I encourage you to do that. If you would like to stay in this pose for your final resting pose or to stretch out and take up room on your mat for Shavasana, you can move to do that now. And taking this opportunity to return back to the intention, inviting in ease, to mindfully find ways to relax. So now the challenge in this pose is to invite in rest, knowing that there's nowhere else you need to be, and this is exactly what you need to be doing. So release any effort that you have here to help invite in some ease. Allow your head to feel even heavier on your mat. And with your next breath out, allow your shoulders to soften down towards the mat as well. Imagine everything from your midline melting out towards the side. You can release control of your breath, noticing what your natural breath feels like once more. Maybe having some curiosity if you can feel your heartbeat. Or if that's too challenging, simply noticing the relationship of this pose with your mat, the way that the earth is supporting you here. As thoughts continue to arise, be the witness. Simply see them and let them pass. Using your breath as an anchor to return back to this present moment, just for a couple more minutes. you start to gather your awareness back into your body, I invite you to create some small movements in your fingers and your toes. Maybe encouraging every finger to touch your thumb, or creating some wrist or ankle rolls. If you would like to take a full body stretch, I invite you to do that now as well. And then roll over to one side. And pause there just for a moment. Using these last couple of moments with your yoga practice on the mat to transition to your yoga practice off the mat. Knowing that these qualities of ease that you have cultivated and might be feeling right now, you can access at any time. You always have these tools to take a moment to pause and to invite in some deep, calming, restful breaths, no matter where you are. Grounding tools like placing a hand on your chest to feel your heartbeat, or noticing your relationship with the earth below you. All right, you can invite yourself back to a seated position, facing your screen. I invite you to bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. We'll take a couple of last breaths together. So extending through the crown of your head, take a full breath in through your nose, and an open mouth exhale. Inhale through your nose all the way up to the top, and an open mouth exhale. I invite you to bring your hands to heart center, and it has been incredibly humbling and a privilege to guide you through this practice today whenever you are watching it. And I am so excited to be able to guide you through a practice in person again soon. But in the meantime, I will bow and say namaste. All right, so if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the studio soon. Thank you.